I'm CC'd on or blind copied on it, or if it's sent to them personally, they don't have time to deal with it, so it still comes to me. So I'm the first point of contact to that lead, and I'm just there to pre-qualify and per that client's needs, whether it's experience. All I do is the restaurant side, so there's definite levels of experience that I'm looking for, and then of course the financial qualification. So until I've done that, I don't even go to a next step. So oftentimes, they're not qualified, so they're kind of done in my process. But I get everybody into the database, materials distribution. I have a team that helps me with that. I don't have to distribute that. There are my coworkers who help me distribute packets and the FDDs to the leads very quickly. And when I do disclose them, then I review the FDD with them. This isn't something the franchisor has to ever worry about or spend time doing, and that can take time. Sitting there going through page by page the FDD, pointing things out that I want to make sure they know about, or answering their questions because they're going to have a lot of questions. This saves time so that when they do get to Discovery Day, they've got all these questions answered. They're not asking the simple questions or the deal-breaking questions. At that point, we've already talked to them many times about it. And then, so Discovery Day, the directors are the ones who host the Discovery Day, so they've been brought into the process with me, and we've been talking to these folks a lot. And since I'm on the restaurant side and the higher investment, as you know, it takes longer, and we talk to them more and more and more and more. We're pretty intimate with the client to where we wouldn't want to take anybody or schedule anybody to a Discovery Day unless we know that they're going to like them. It would be pretty embarrassing if we get somebody to Discovery Day for our clients and they look at us like, you're crazy, why did you bring me this lead? So we already know they're qualified on all accounts. They hit all these, bullet points that we're looking for, and that they know what they're getting into, so that when you're there, it's you're starting your negotiations and you're ready to close the deal. And we help with that. The only other thing I wanted to say when you were talking about, I can't remember how you called it, but I was going to say one thing that we are an extra team member, and that the other day a client keeps getting emails from, when you're talking about kind of helping weed out some of the suspects. It's easier for us to turn someone down if they're not qualified than my client who's the founder of this company, and it's a friend of a friend who keeps emailing saying, I really want to open one of your stores. They don't have half the capital they need and no experience that they require, and we can't open just one store. We don't want to open just one store in that market. While they might keep thinking they have a connection with that founder, that person, it's easy for me to call up and say, listen, here's the requirements as laid out. You don't meet those requirements. And so it's just part of the services that we provide to help keep those, conversations the way we want them to go and help save time for our clients.
We're pretty good at delivering bad news.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Kelly.
Sure.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, we take everything from start to finish, and we'll do most of our clients we've got long-term relationships with, 5+ years, and we've got skin in the game.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Do appreciate it. I think the next portion of the presentation is going to be a bit of a combination of you all as the panelists giving practical advice, aspects of the franchise sales and development process. But I think really more importantly, because of the sake of time, we have 20 minutes left, is really probably to open it up to questions as well. And before we open it up to questions, is there any sort of any concluding remarks you'd like to share, Dave?
I guess I should, the big buzzword right now is that candidates want a self-directed experience as they go through your process. So yes, you have to be the pace car. Yes, you have to be a recruiter, not a salesperson. Yes, you have to make sure you're the process czar and make sure they don't get ahead of the process. But they want to have flexibility to view things offline and have the ability to kind of digest information, not just at the real time when you're telling them it. So self-directed is the operative word right now that we're hearing. you want to see, and they want to see a lot of blogging, content-rich websites, multimedia, little vignettes, 3 to 4 minute videos that you can maybe password protect, so as they graduate through your process, they get introduced to different aspects of your business and videos therein. And I think overall, you got to make your website and all your collateral materials emotionally engaging. You have to appeal to their logical side and the rational side, but you got to stir the emotional pot, and you absolutely have to engage them and connect them to the cause. That's what's winning right now.
Okay, great. James?
I have two things before that, just to piggyback on Dave's comment. No matter how mature of an investor they are, they buy emotionally and justify with logic. So no matter, I mean, they're not going to invest in a brand that they, and we talk about really having passionate franchisees. That actually, if you bring on passionate franchisees, they will help your brand grow. But two things that I had that I didn't speak about is your franchise disclosure document. I use it as a sales tool. And Mullin Law, I don't know if you're all using them or not, but we rewrote a franchise agreement when I first started Red Mango that another firm wrote, and we actually condensed it by about 10 pages or so, I don't remember, but we were losing deals because we wrote that franchise agreement so tough. So I learned at Dunkin' Brands, we took basically 3 words out for every 4 or 5 words when we rewrote their franchise agreement, and it was fair but firm. And you really got to ask yourself, do you really need all of that in the franchise agreement, because it's going to turn more people off. So that really was a game changer for us. I can tell you deals we lost. Then after that, we didn't lose hardly any because of it, and we never made a change in the franchise agreement. So I would just draw a line in the sand as have an agreement that you're willing to walk away from a deal because you're not going to make any changes to it, and so forth. Second thing, whether you use any 3 of these avenues, you've got to invest. If you really have a franchise brand that's franchisable, over 3,000 brands, as you said, out there, you're going to invest one of these 3 ways with it. So whether it's and really focus on it, because I know brands that have really good growth, and then they stop doing what got them there, and then next year they didn't get the results, and they want to know why. So you never have arrived. So whichever avenue you use, it's an investment, not just in financially, but really in your business model. That's all I have.
Mike? It's really more what James said is stay the course, come up with your plan, and just keep following that plan. Have your end game in mind, and don't deviate. Don't deviate. Focus on it every day.
Terrific. Let's open it up to questions. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sure you have a gazillion questions back there. Let me bring you the mic. Hang on one second. If you don't mind standing up, introduce yourself. Tell us the brand you represent.
I'm Greg Simmons. I'm the franchise consultant, and Grains Salads next to me here is one of my clients. Question is, part of the cost per lead or per close, does that include a commission payable to the franchise sales department?
Not in my.
Okay.
No, that was just franchise. In the franchise update survey, it's just franchise advertising, marketing, and PR.
Okay.
It does not include travel or commissions or salaries.
Who else has a question? Over here.
I'm Sam Hance. I do consulting work, sales work for franchisors. James, is directed to you. Most of the franchisors in the last few years have had closures of units, and at Fazoli's, you guys have closed almost 40% of the stores, it sounded like. How do you overcome the negativity? And you mentioned PR. Could you talk a little bit about the role and how you overcome that type of negativity?
Well, that's a very good question, because that was one of the biggest concerns. I don't know what's more fun or more hard, launching a new brand or a brand that's 20, 30, 40 years old that's gone through struggles like that. Just to give you a Reader's Digest version, Fazoli's was real hot. They had over 400 locations. The guy that owned it, Long John Silver's, if you don't know, in their heyday, they found it and then they sold it off. McDonald's was going to buy it in 2006. They gave them $5 million and walked away from it. That's